Well, for more on this, we're joined here in the studio by Dr. Osama Kadi, who's a senior advisor to the Minister of Economy and Industry in Syria. Thank you very much indeed for coming to see us, Dr. Kadi. You're from Aleppo. You worked as an economics consultant in Syria, in Canada, the United States. At one stage, it looked like you were going to be involved in Syria's governance. You're now going to be, obviously, in that role that I just mentioned, sort of behind the scenes. You published, whilst you were engaged with the opposition, a paper entitled The Economic Map of the New Syria. It was a plan for the post-war economic recovery. That day has now come. Just tell us how involved you are in Syria's future.
Actually, from day first of the revolution, I joined the opposition and joined Syrian people, basically. We established what we call Syrian people friend for economic development and reconstruction in 2012, headed by Germany and United Arab Emirates. We had the first meeting in May 2012 in Abu Dhabi. I believe 45 countries attended, and then we had another one in October 2012 titled the investment in New Syria. 200 business people attended, most of them Syrians, and they pledged at that time to invest $5 billion the minute that toppled down the Syrian regime. And then we have in Berlin, Germany, another conference. And then we had in South Korea the last conference in 2013. So what we had with the Syrian Economic Task Force, the Syrian economic roadmap in 14 sectors, what we should do the first 6 months, the first 2 years, the first 5 years. And that was in 2012, so advanced, you know, like 13 years before we're done with that Syrian regime. So right now we're trying to do, things are, you know, so different than 2013, 2014 for sure, because Bashar al-Assad destroyed the whole country, 13 million people, refugee and displaced, so it will be different calculations, I guess.
Okay, so the plan is there. Are the right people in the right jobs to steer Syria's economy, do you think?
Most of the time, yes, because like we have very good technocrat governments. We had people graduated from the United States, from UK, from France, from Germany. All those are ministers right now. So they are really doing a great job in networking with the international community. I just want to remind you, since 1979, Hafiz al-Assad, the dad of Bashar, he actually let us listed as a country that support terrorists since 1979. So we are isolated from the whole globe since then. So now, just imagine after 50, 60 years, right now you're going to be a normal member of the global community, international community, and even the SWIFT and correspondent banks just worked 10 days ago. So you're able to establish account in Syria with any bank and transfer like $100 or $100 million. That happened just 10 days ago. We are done with this isolation and with that, like all sanctions. That's really, really very advanced success.
Right. I mean, things are really changing fast, aren't they? When you consider the World Bank says that Syria's GDP is going to grow 1% in 2025. I mean, that is a remarkable turnaround from a contraction last year, and given the fact that the country has been totally cut off from the rest of the world economy.
I might even disagree with the World Bank. This estimate of 1% is, I don't think it's accurate and can't be accurate, because if we were minus 4%, if right now we are at 1%, then we improve 5% economic growth, not 1%. And even the ministers right now, they don't have the data to show how much we grow so far. So I think that was just an estimate and at very early stage. Usually you have to have the first quarter economic growth, second quarter economic growth. We're done with Syrian regime 6 months ago. So that's just an estimate. And I believe we won't really know the economic growth accurately till the end of the year, and that's what we're working on.
Would you agree with the plus sign in front of the number?
Plus for sure, but not
Okay.
not one for sure. I'm sure more than 1%.
Okay, well, so it's heading in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Tell us, you were last in Syria a couple of days ago, I gather.
Mm-hmm.
What is the country like now? I mean, what's the mood there? What's life like for ordinary Syrians?
For ordinary Syrians, they were, especially employees in the public sector, so happy because they will increase their salaries 200%. So I met, for example, the driver of the mayor of Aleppo, who drove me to Damascus. He said, my salary right now, 320,000 Syrian pounds, which is like $32. And right now it will be 800,000. I'm the happiest person on earth. Since I work here since 27 years, never had this raise in my life. Besides, they had a gift at Eid time, like a couple of weeks ago, of 500,000 Syrian pound. This is as a gift for all employees. So they are happy in this turn. It's a lot of investors are interested in investing in Syria in a way that I couldn't believe that the amount of people who are really interested, just one number, like 6,200 new projects, new companies registered in Syria since 6 months.
Sure.
So 2,000 already executed their projects, and the rest are in their way. So, and a lot of international companies, you know that, like CMA, they got the Latakia port, DP from Dubai, the Tartus port. We have $7 billion energy contract with the 4 countries, including United States. We had $1.5 billion just entertainment and for arts and cinema and like studios. It's a huge for Syria. $1 billion for studios is just beyond belief. If in 2024, our general budget, $2 billion for the whole Syria. So the guy is coming, the investor, to invest 1.5 billion only in studios. Besides, for tourism, just signed MOU for $8 billion in tourism. And a lot of companies, we can't keep a track with this.
Okay, I mean, we'll talk a bit more about investment in just a moment, but just going back to life for ordinary Syrians, I mean, I'm assuming a large section of the population is still living in poverty-like conditions, aren't they?
With this increase of minimum wage, our recommendation was don't just raise the income, because that will go only for public sector. But how about the private sector, which is 2/3 of the labor force? So the recommendation was to raise the whole minimum wage. So used to be 200,000 minimum wage, which is like $20. Right now they increase it to 750,000. And that like a huge increase for anyone in Syria for the average. For the electricity is getting better, but I saw many cities like Hama, for example, the solar system in all Hama. So everybody's relying on the sunshine, not really relying on the
individually, energy. Or is that provided
individually,
by, okay,
like privately. So people get used to this because if I can remind everybody, 6 months ago we were 3 areas of influence: Russian one, American one, Turkish one, and we used to have 540 military base 6 months ago. So imagine this shift from having all those huge international military and militias from Iraq and sects of militias. Right now you are like in very much like, relatively speaking, safe areas. Some small areas they are still dealing with, but the rest is very safe. Like I used to come back to hotel at 2 a.m. every day. Everybody's in the street, everybody's like having fun in cafes. Sometimes you can't find even place in the cafes at 1 a.m.
Okay, I was going to ask you actually, because I mean, one of the sectors that Syria used to thrive in was, of course, tourism, and tourists used to visit Syria, including me, in large numbers. And yet we've had, there is still some evidence that things are not quite stable. A Shia cleric was assassinated, I believe, yesterday, yes, I think it was yesterday, in Homs. There was that attack on the Orthodox Church in Damascus, a deadly attack in June. Then there were the attacks on the Alawites in the coastal areas. Is it safe for tourists to come back to Syria, or are we not quite there yet?
I think for tourists, many cities are very safe, like Damascus, Aleppo, Homs, Hama, I mean, anywhere. There's some cities, many cities in like small cities in Latakia or Jabla might not be very safe. In Damascus, that incident when happened, within less than 24 hours, the whole gangs get captured immediately. And so they know them, and right now they are like really putting all their efforts to make it safer and safer. I mean, I remember even in UK, for 20 years, the Sinn Féin, every 1 week they have bombs somewhere in London. And still UK is UK. I mean, I told you 6 months ago, we used to have 540 militia base and military base. So it's not easy to have 100% like safe and everywhere. But I can assure you that if you wanna right now try to have a ticket to Syria, you're not gonna find from now to 2 months. Okay. Just to have one ticket. Like, there's no place, no seats, all of them filled. Most of them Syrians, some of them are companies who are interested in Syria from everywhere, from UK, from United States, from China, from South Korea. You're gonna find there a lot of those everywhere from all over the world. But I wanna just shed lights that on even the number of tourists in 2010 were only 8 million people as tourists, where like Cyprus has 4 million. So we're not really doing that much even in tourism. That's even before the revolution. We are aiming to have at least till 2035, at least 30 to 40 million tourists in Syria, inshallah.
Okay, well, so clearly lots is going to happen on that front. The US president has dismantled sanctions against Syria. That's something that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Assad Hassan al-Shaybani, has welcomed, saying it's going to open the door for reconstruction and development. I mean, what difference is that making so far? Are we seeing evidence that's making a difference already?
I just spoke to 3 banks that they have transferred inflow, outflow, and they say like we are back to life again after all these years, decades. So right now, without removing that sanctions, we won't be able to have a life in our SWIFT. No correspondent banks will work with us, and we'll be isolated forever. So right now, just a couple weeks ago, or maybe less than 10 business days, now we are back live. I wanna shed light on one small thing too. 4 days ago, the Turkish coordinators who used to manage the Turkish area of influence gave all the data to Aleppo mayor and his staff just 4 days ago. We were in very complicated phase before. 6 months ago. It's not 6 years ago. No. So it's a really big shift. So yes, they are cooperating, but they want to feel that the mayor, the city is ready to have everything in their hands. So just 4 days ago.
You mentioned that 6-month time frame. I mean, just really for the benefit of our viewers, because we broke the news in this studio of Bashar al-Assad being ousted, which felt surreal. He's been around for years. His father was around from long before we were born. Well, certainly in my case. I mean, a new leader is installed. He's been brought in from the cold. He was there in Riyadh, flanked by President Trump and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on the other side. Mm-hmm. We had President Trump describing him as tough and attractive. I mean, very flattering terminology. What does it feel like to you as a Syrian when you look back on these 6 months? I mean, doesn't it all feel quite surreal?
Actually, it's a dream. I will tell you, I was crying when they removed the sanctions, when Mohammed bin Salman make like this and this gesture and stand up and stood up and clap, and the whole Saudis attendance step. It was one of its kind of historical incident for all Syrians. It's like the same weight of the victory date, because we are back from the coma, economic coma after 50 years. Hafiz Assad and Bashar Assad, they put us in very isolated place, So they will do whatever they want to do with this population for 5 decades. So I think it's really a huge move within 6 months, a huge move. Sudan, by the way, took a year and a half with big government in Sudan before the last coup to remove some of the sanctions. Within 6 months, you remove the sanctions and the SWIFT is working. And we have a lot of companies, including American companies, Qatari companies, French companies, United Arab Emirates. And by the way, the president was 2 days ago in United Arab Emirates, the Syrian president. That means the great relationship between Syria and its neighbors. That never happened, by the way. Bashar al-Assad used to swear at all those Arab leaders. They say, like, there's a half-men. They are not really, those are like Bedouins. We don't deal with it. He used to speak trash on the Arab leaders, where now we are welcoming our Arab neighbors. So he was trying always to make some fight with the Arab neighbors to favor whom? The Iranians.
Going back to Saudi Arabia and its contribution, the foreign minister, His Highness Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, went to Damascus in May, I believe it was, with an economic delegation. How important has Saudi's sponsorship, Saudi's support for Syria been these last few months?
It's a huge, and we are expecting to have a big team of business people, and we're not talking tens. We might talk like three figures of businessmen, of Saudi businessmen, to come to Syria to invest in all sectors, and that will surprise not Syrians, will surprise the world of the amount of money they will invest in Syria, and I will leave it to people to see that surprise when they come to Syria, because the reason actually they were late because of less conflict, in flying between Iran and Israel or whatever. Say were not able to fly in. So, but right now they are preparing very, very well to come to Syria and invest in all sectors. And
which sectors are you most excited about?
To be honest, every sectors, like agriculture, industry, tourism, medical. I met with a businessman who will invest in a medical city for $1 billion. And he has the plans. Even before that investment law 114 that announced yesterday, he said, I'm ready. And people are ready in a way that surprised me. I said, like, within 6 months, I expect, once a week you have somebody who's interested, but not on a daily basis. That's a surprise.
Yeah, and that surprised you, and you're surprised, as you mentioned, by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman when he made that gesture at that conference in Riyadh. We heard as well, of course, Saudi Arabia paying off $15 million of Syria's debt to the World Bank. I mean, put that into perspective for us. What message did that send out to the rest of the world?
Very political, correct political message they sent. That we are, those our brothers, we not gonna leave them any time in the hole for forever, and we will support their economy. We will support any step toward making this place economically booming in Syria.
Okay, so clearly lots has happened. Bashar al-Assad is out. Hezbollah has been weakened. Iran is distracted. I mean, that means a lot less interference, doesn't it, in Syria's affairs? Does that leave the government then a clear path to do all the things that need to be done? Are you optimistic?
Very optimistic, very, very optimistic. I mean, the whole project of Iranian project to have be like in Yemen and Iraq, in Syria, in Lebanon, the whole project was a failed project. Their goals never achieved. In Lebanon they lost, in Syria they lost. Right now in Iraq they will be losing. In Yemen I think they gave up on this. In Iran itself, been attacked. How come you're going to have nuclear weapon while you don't have even like plane or anything, even like air defense? You don't have like 300 airplane are just bombing Tehran, and you're watching, and you need to have nuclear weapon. It's just I don't know how the way they think. But besides this, for us, we feel much safer. We know it's challenging. Right now, there's more than 100,000 new soldiers being well trained. Most of them, like I'll say, more than 20%, they were really experienced fighter over 14 years. The rest are very well trained. Right now, we are ready to challenge anybody will work on unstable this country, and we are really. Put our hands together to make it very safe, because we need to focus on our economic development.
Okay, we've heard the US Special Envoy for Syria, Tom Barrack, talking about a new Middle East. I mean, what do you think a stable Syria means for the region?
Without stable country like Syria, if there's no stability in Syria, I don't think will be any stability in all region. Like, and you see, what happened in Lebanon, in Iraq, and all over the world. Even like Turkey, when we have some militias trying to attack Turkey from there, and we have Hezbollah's like talking unstable the whole country. He want to fight whenever he want to fight, ignoring the government itself, that he will take the decision of war whatever he wants. So this is instability in this region is no longer accepted, and I think everybody is betting on very stable economy, very stable country in Syria, and it will be really part of the 2030 vision of Saudis, where we have really new Middle East, and we will be one of the within 5 to 10 years, like the top economic development growth in the whole region. Rwanda, with all massacres happened, they used to have 7% economic growth, then 9%, then 13%. We're like the fastest growing economy in Africa. And I don't think we are far away from 10% economic growth very soon.
Okay, and just lastly, sanctions against Bashar al-Assad are still in place. He's, we think, in Russia. What do you think is going to happen to him? Do you think he'll disappear into obscurity, or do you think he'll come back to Syria and face justice?
I think Russia will have some deals to sell the guy. So I think he's so scared right now, because they put him on table to see who will pay the price of this guy. The wealth is in Russia anyway, between Belarus and Russia. So they don't really mind the wealth, because the wealth is there in Russia. For him, they might make a deal with Americans or with Syrians very soon, where, like, we will have great relationship, and here's the guy who killed all your people, so I will give it to you. You never know what will happen very soon.
All right, Dr. Osama Kadi, thank you very much indeed for coming to see us here at Alarabiya English.
Thank you so much.